Mesoamerica. The very name conjures images of towering pyramids piercing the jungle canopy. We think of the Maya with their bafflingly accurate calendars. We picture the Aztecs with their vast floating city. These were civilizations of immense sophistication and power. They developed complex writing systems, understood advanced mathematics, and built cities that rivaled any in the ancient world. They flourished for thousands of years, creating a rich tapestry of cultures across what is now Mexico and Central America. Yet despite all we have learned from their stelae, their codices, and the ruins they left behind, deep mysteries remain. So much of their history is shrouded in silence, lost to time and conquest. This silence has almost inevitably created a space for questions. And not just simple questions, but deep probing inquiries that sometimes challenge the very foundations of what we think we know. These are not the sensationalist tales of ancient aliens building pyramids, but more subtle, more intriguing theories. They are born from the gaps in our historical records. They grow in the soil of archaeological discoveries that don't quite fit the established narrative. These ideas suggest that some of the most pivotal moments in Mesoamerican history might have unfolded in ways far different from the stories we tell in our textbooks. They ask us to look again at the evidence we have. These alternative narratives are often called conspiracy theories, a term that can sometimes feel a little dismissive. But perhaps it's more helpful to think of them as historical detective work. They involve piecing together disparate clues, an oddly carved stone here, an unexplained cultural shift there. They challenge us to consider possibilities that mainstream history might have overlooked or too quickly disregarded. What if some cultural practices were not what they seemed? What if major historical events were driven by hidden motives and secret knowledge? The evidence is often circumstantial, of course, which is precisely why these debates continue to rage so fiercely among those who study the past. In this exploration, we will step away from the well-trodden path. We will delve into some of the lesser-known yet compelling theories that swirl around these magnificent civilizations. We will start with the Olmecs, the mother culture of Mesoamerica, and a perplexing mystery surrounding their origins. Then we will journey to the classic Maya period to question the story of their famous collapse. Finally, we will arrive at the dramatic end of the Aztec Empire and investigate a theory that suggests the Spanish conquest was not just a matter of military might, but perhaps of a cleverly manipulated prophecy. These are stories that remind us that history is never truly settled. Our first mystery takes us back to the very dawn of Mesoamerican civilization. We are in the humid lowlands of the Gulf Coast, around 1500 BCE. This is the world of the Olmecs. They are famous for carving colossal stone heads, some weighing up to 50 tons, with astonishing skill. These heads possess strikingly distinct features, flattened noses, and full, fleshy lips. For decades, the mainstream view has held that the Olmecs were an indigenous people who developed their unique culture in isolation. But a persistent alternative theory suggests something quite different. It proposes that the Olmecs were not entirely indigenous, but were influenced by, or even descended from, visitors from across the Atlantic. This theory, often referred to as the African transoceanic contact theory, points to the colossal heads as its prime evidence. Proponents, like the scholar Ivan van Sertima, have argued that the facial features depicted are unmistakably African in appearance. They suggest that ancient mariners from Africa, perhaps from the Nubian civilization of the Nile Valley, could have successfully navigated the Atlantic currents and landed in the Gulf of Mexico. This, they argue, would explain the sudden appearance of such a sophisticated culture with